So, hi everyone. I'm Eric Stetson, founder and CEO of Mannabase. Okay. Okay. You ready? Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm Eric Stetson, founder and CEO of Mannabase, and this is John Freshen, co-founder. I want to just say, first of all, that there's an amazing number of projects that are presented here today, and I want to just thank everyone who's working in this space. We've been bootstrapping our project for about 4 years now. It's been an incredible journey, and I just want to say that I find it incredibly inspiring how many people have picked up on this idea of universal basic income and doing it with digital tokens. I think this is really a trend. I think, at least one of these projects, and hopefully more than one, is going to take off. And if any of us succeed, we all succeed. And in fact, the whole world succeeds. Over 3 billion people in the world today are living on less than $2.50 a day. So the situation with poverty in the world is incredibly bad. And it's only going to get worse. With automation and the rise of artificial intelligence, more and more jobs are going to be eliminated. So we're going to need a universal basic income in the world, and it's going to have to be global. It cannot just be within the United States where we have poverty, but we don't have the kind of poverty that they have in a lot of countries in the world. We need to be creating a global system for basic income where we could literally double the income of people with just a few $100s a year. I mean, that's an achievable goal. That's a real impact that we can make. So what we're doing with the Manna project and the Mannabase platform is we're using the world's first tradable, on an exchange, blockchain-based currency with a price that has been set by the free market for the last 4 years to give away universal basic income that has real value. It doesn't have a lot of real value yet, but this is basically a proof of concept. And we're proud to be the first to have done it. We think it's amazing that so many other great projects are doing it too, and whoever succeeds, it's all great. We just love the fact that people are picking up on this and doing it, and we think it's going to change the world one way or another. Now, the basic issue, as we move from just talking about UBI in general to talking about the question that keeps coming up that Mr. Draper brings up and a lot of people are bringing up is, how are you going to actually fund a UBI? If you're not going to do it with government, if you're not going to do it with taxes, how do you fund it? What's the business model? What backs up a currency like this? I think it's an incredibly important question. So the model that we've decided to use is to back it up with a social media platform. Billions of people spend countless hours online every day generating a lot of very valuable data and content. And they're not sharing in the profits of that value that they're creating. We think that it's only fair that a new social platform emerge that gives away a universal basic income to the user base as a reward for their participation. And that's the basic concept of what Mannabase is doing as we move to the next phase beyond just pilot testing a UBI blockchain currency. So just to quickly summarize the key features of what we're building. Using a one user, one account system, strictly enforcing that, it's absolutely essential. As Adam from Bright ID talked about, absolutely essential. So that's a key part of what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be working with any partner that we can, including potentially Bright ID. We've already been discussing with them that possibility, and we're working with other partners as well. We already are using a tradable blockchain currency to empower humanity both with giving away the currency as a basic income and enabling people to give it away to other people on the platform they want to give it to, either charitably or that they want to transact with. So we're giving the social dividend, the UBI, through the Manna currency. We are also extending that to children. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. That's one of the unique features of what we're doing. We'll get back to that a little bit later in the presentation. Another aspect of what we're going to do is gamify giving. We want to make it fun for people to give money away, to pay it forward. When they get the Manna UBI, we want people who don't really need it, people that are well off and don't need a basic income, to feel like, hey, I want to give this away. I want to pay it forward to people, either people in need or people that are creating good content. And we have a sustainable revenue model, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation.
Yeah, so first, the one user, one account. This is something that's been talked about in a variety of ways today. This is a feature that we kind of see as a two-tier solution, biometric identification as well as a web of trust. We're currently in the beta testing phase of ID-R&D, which is a voice recognition software that was just mentioned in the UBI seed presentation as well. And then after that, we will be following up with the Bright ID Web of Trust beta testing phase. And those two will be the initial development of our ID verification methodology.
All right, so let me just give you a quick history, because I think most of us here understand blockchain and the incredible power that it offers for peer-to-peer resource transfer. I'm going to kind of skip over a lot of this in the interest of time, but you can see on the slide just a summary of those benefits. But what I want to say here is that we've been working with blockchain. I personally have been working with it ever since 2014, and then we launched our own blockchain in 2015. I literally learned how to build a blockchain. Taking the Bitcoin code. Back in the days when you had to really study code, you couldn't just create a token on Ethereum or whatever. I self-taught how to create our own blockchain, and we did that. And we have had a fully functional blockchain based on SHA-256 technology, similar to Bitcoin. It also has some code that's been integrated from the Peercoin blockchain as well to improve some of the features. And in 2016, we started pilot testing, giving away Manna as a universal basic income with some initial groups of just a few thousand people. We were doing it manually, which quickly proved to be impossible, to scale that up. So then in 2017, we started pilot testing some more automated systems, and in 2018, we launched the Mannabase website, where we have a fully automated system giving away the Manna UBI every week.
So yeah, the Manna Social Dividend, or Manna UBI, is distributed on a weekly basis. It's been being distributed for about 1 year, all on the blockchain, to approximately 100,000 unique individuals. One of the really cool things we like about combining a social dividend or UBI with a social network is it creates a built-in user acquisition cost, an incentive to not only join the network, but to continuously participate on an ongoing basis.
Right, and just to add to that real quick, we're probably going to be having different levels of the UBI based on levels of participation. So, if you just join and you log in once a week or something, you'll get kind of the basic level, and if you participate more, you'll get more. So that's another feature that we're going to be implementing. All right, let's see. Children's Savings Program. This is something that I'm personally really passionate about. It's one of the most unique aspects of the Manna project. We are extending the universal basic income to children. Children all over the world who are living in abject poverty. We have already started with a pilot test of this program in a refugee camp in Uganda, where we are already signing up kids who live in mud huts, essentially, terrible poverty situation, by deputizing people in the community that have cell phones or that have access to a computer, and they're signing children up, going to the families. So we're working on the ground in an actual village in Africa, signing up kids to give them hope for their future. When the kids turn 18, they will gain access to their Manna on Mannabase. It's currently going into locked wallets, and we're going to be implementing smart contracts so that when the children turn 18, they will gain access to the money. And we're going to be partnering with educational organizations to enable these children to use that money, which could be a very significant amount of money when they turn 18. That could be worth thousands of dollars if this program actually catches on and gets funded. Those kids will be able to do things like buy educational courses, buy courses in learning foreign languages, being able to travel the world, and maybe go to Draper University. So this is part of the vision that we have, to empower kids in great financial need. And we're working with charities and NGOs, already starting to partner with a few of them in Africa and Latin America and Asia. And we're already actually even talking with 3 governments at the ambassador level of 3 different national governments to enroll children, to pilot test this children's savings program in cities in Africa and Asia.
And one final point I would like to add to that too is we find this is a great kind of long-term investment in the development of the Mana network itself. You kind of are looking at the next generation forward in terms of the development of the project we're looking at increasing over time.
Right, from a business model perspective, it's essentially onboarding the next generation of users into the Mannabase social network. I mean, imagine essentially, if you have a choice of, well, gee, should I join Facebook or Twitter, or should I join Mannabase and do my social media there? Well, if I join Mannabase, I'm going to get, a whole bunch of money that I'll get access to when I turn 18, maybe not have to take out as many student loans. So this is from a business model perspective. In addition to the charitable mission, it's a really beautiful thing, we think.
Okay, so the gamification of giving is one of the parts of this project I'm most excited about and I think is most compelling. Mannabase is providing tools to allow users to give directly to organizations, groups, and individuals around the world. This includes content creators, impoverished populations, and those in an emergency or disaster relief situation. We're doing this through a couple ways, mainly through a giving portfolio in which the user can take their mana and organize it in a variety of different percentages to those aforementioned groups. And that will be distributed on a weekly basis in coordination with the Mana weekly social dividend. Second thing we'll be doing is creating a seamless one-click giving apparatus which allows users who see content or posts from other users to just seamlessly click and transfer a small amount of value.
Now, this is an incredibly important part of the presentation. Any universal basic income has to be funded somehow. The network effect is great, and we're believers in the network effect, but there also has to be backing for money. And the question is, how are you going to back a basic income beyond just getting huge user growth and trying to persuade people to buy the currency as a speculative investment, which that can take you so far, and it has enabled Mana to get to the point where it's worth about 10 to 15 times what it was worth when we launched 4 years ago, just by free market trading of the token. But it can only take you so far. So what we're going to do is monetize user engagement on our platform, and we're going to take a small transaction fee of every time that Mana moves on the platform. And so essentially, by giving utility to the token as the way that money moves within a social network, that's how we're going to monetize our UBI. We also are going to do some commercial licensing of solutions that we develop, proprietary solutions that we can license to businesses, nonprofit organizations, and governments. One area that I would love for us to get into, for example, is voting and governance systems, and of course targeted giving systems for charities to make giving more efficient is definitely something we'll do. Finally, an investment fund. We have a nonprofit organization that owns half of our for-profit company. So, of course, the model for funding the UBI is that when the company makes profit, half of that profit is going to go back to the user base through our nonprofit, through the distribution of the UBI, which is done by the nonprofit. But the for-profit company is also going to have the ability to earn profits for investors as well. But we're going to have this. We're going to try to raise an endowment through the nonprofit and turn that into an investment fund and use the profits from the investment fund to back the value of the Mana currency. And then with the fractional reserve effect, if you raise a certain amount of money and you're getting a certain amount of profits coming in from the investment fund, that's going to produce a multiplier effect, essentially, on the value of the currency. So we think that the value could ultimately be, thousands of times what it is now if we can actually raise this money and generate a consistent profitability stream through all of these different methodologies. All right, our team. I'll just first tell you really quickly a little bit about myself. My background is mostly in executive management roles in the nonprofit sector. I'm passionate about charity work. I've worked for a number of charities, but I also have gotten into the technology field. I worked for a few years as a website developer. I've worked as a social media manager for companies, and I worked for SolarCoin, which is a really cool cryptocurrency project. I worked for them for about a year in 2014, and that was kind of how I cut my teeth in the crypto space. John, you want to tell about yourself?
Yeah, so I am a serial entrepreneur throughout my last 10 years since I graduated, and in that time I've focused on user experience and front-end design, and I tend to look at how is this as intuitive and simple from a user-end experience.
All right. Our CTO, Doug Schubert, has 30-plus years experience running his own company in IT security. He's a true expert in that field. He's literally been building his own servers on hardware all the way back to the era of Steve Jobs and Wozniak, you know, all the way back. He even built his own ISP back in the 90s. He's got a wide array of experience, and he has major business and government clients. He actually manages the entire security system for the prison system of the whole state of Vermont. Our lead developer, Matthew Lobiller, he has worked as a database engineer for Amazon, a very high level. He's a very senior level software developer. He started his own software development company in recent years and is just an amazing developer, knows a whole bunch of different languages. And finally, co-founder Brandon Vanetta. He has worked as a project manager for businesses, managing from start to completion multi-million-dollar projects. And he also is kind of our lead networking person, really great people person, and has brought a lot of great connections to the table for us. We have a great advisory team as well. Andrew Yang, serial entrepreneur, founder of Venture for America, and presidential candidate. We've got a couple of professors. We've got Nick Gogarty, an economist, has worked for many global financial institutions, and Soren, the founder of Samfundstanken and the UBI Seed Project. We have a great relationship with him. We're really happy to be working with him and his project and to have him on our advisory board.
Yeah, and then finally we have a couple great partnerships we're really excited about. We've been working with the Stanford Code the Change team with 7 student developers who have been helping us create the features that we've been talking about today that will be on our more pronounced platform in coordination with our professional team. And we've got another year we'll be working with them. And then Samfundstanken, who you just learned about in the previous presentation, we're doing consultation work for them and have been developing a lot of advice and guidance in the creation of that.
And we're doing some technology work with them as well, using the Mannabase user base for testing. Just in conclusion, I want to say we've raised over 100K last year in first seed round, but mostly this has been a bootstrapped project primarily up until now, just a small seed round, and we're now this year looking to raise a second later stage seed round. Hopefully over $1 million is what we're looking to raise this year to take our project to the next level. There are 2 options for people that want to get in on this funding round. You can either buy equity in Mannabase, the corporation, which is a C Corp based in Delaware, or you can buy Manna currency in private negotiated deals. We're not doing any public token sales. We've never done public token sales other than just people buying and selling the currency on the free market. But we have sold some Manna in private deals, and we will continue to do that in this next round. Thank you all, now let's open up to questions.
Thank you, everybody.
Hello. I've got a question. How many people are actually using your social network so far?
About 85,000 people right now have been fully verified as unique human beings and are active users. In terms of level of activity, you know, there isn't a lot yet other than just people transacting the currency, because there's not much you can do yet on the platform, and that's what we're going to be building out in the rest of this year, is all of these the full spectrum of social features currently in development.
And what's the, how much is your weekly UBI distribution selling for? Is there a market yet?
Yeah, there is a market. So Mana trades on a couple of exchanges. They're very small ones, but we've been on, the biggest one that we're on is called South Exchange, and we've been on there ever since the beginning, since 2015. And so, I mean, the total market cap of our currency, of all the currency we've actually issued into circulation, is about $1 million. So it's still a very small, early stage crypto. And we've given away over $100,000 to people around the world in UBI, but it's very small amounts per person at this stage. So really what has to happen is just to more fully capitalize the project and more back it with more profitability to make it worth more.
And the weekly, your weekly, when you give them money weekly, how much are they getting per week? Like, is it?
It's really, it's probably at this point just like 25 cents or something. It's very small at this point. Admittedly, the biggest challenge with any project like this is simply capitalizing the UBI, and it really just takes raising large amounts of money, to back this type of an endeavor. But we believe that we can do that with a profitable social platform that can make money for investors as well, in addition to being a really amazing charity.
All right.
Thank you.